Alright, welcome back as we take on Module 10 in Computer Science. Alright, first question, let's dive right in. If you have enjoyed this video or found it useful, please click a like and leave a comment. And if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Alright, on the first question, Henry wants to build a computer that will allow him to run a hypervisor program. What does Henry not need on his computer? Right, for a hypervisor, the first option, the high-end processor with multiple cores. That would definitely help if you're talking about virtual machines, so that wouldn't be something that he would not need. Next, maximum amount of RAM motherboard can accept. Likewise, when you're running virtual machines, the RAM is split between the host and the virtual machine. So just to run the host, you're going to need a decent amount of RAM for that. So you're going to need maximum amount of RAM motherboard can accept. So we can cancel that one out as something that Henry would not need. Next, hard drive with large storage capacity. So that would help as well, because if you look at it, your hard drive has to store the virtual machine on it itself. So if you're storing items on the virtual machine as well as the host, you have to split that space between the hard drive. So having that hard drive with large capacity will go a lot further for you on a hypervisor for running virtual machines. So the correct answer would be a high-end video card. Even though it would be nice, you can live with viewing one screen at a time, or if you have dual monitors, all you need to do is be able to see the host and or switch back and forth to the actual virtual machine. In most cases, when you're running a virtual machine, you really don't need the host once you got everything set up. You're actually using that VM to do work on. Or if you're not using it, if you're running it as a type of server, you can minimize it and you don't need to see the screen. So a high-end video card would be the least of those that you would need. So the correct answer would be high-end video card. All right. So let's pop on to number 2. Number 2, what type of computer is recommended when you want to allow the server to do most of the computing, but would like to connect to the server via a browser? So the first, as you look at zero client, that wouldn't make any sense, so that wouldn't be the answer. A virtual client, as we skip the correct answer, which is a thin client, because a thin client is going to work along with the server, because it can't survive without the server. All the information is stored on the server. Thin client is just usually set there to make input or to do really very minimal tasks, but without the server, the thin client would be useless. So virtual client and thick client, not the answer. A thick client is mostly like a regular desktop that can work alone without a server. You can do things on a thick client that you can't do on a thin client. But so thin client would be the correct answer. Alright, so let's look at number 3. Alright, Kendra, a user, would like to share her serial printer that has no networking connectivity with the other users in her small office. Which of the following would be the best choice for providing this functionality with the least effort and cost to the user? So the first one, install an integrated print server. No. Because if she's going to share a serial printer without networking, installing a print server wouldn't make sense because you wouldn't have access to the network. Right? Enable print sharing on the printer would be the correct answer. That way other users can use it just by connecting to the computer that the prints, or that the sharing with the network, that the computer itself that's connected by serial cable, and then using that printer as a shared printer. All right. The other 2 answers, update the current printer drivers, wouldn't help, and enable print sharing on the computer, the same thing, wouldn't actually enable print sharing on the computer. That's multiple answers, but that is the same one, and we will correct that before we send this up. All right. So the correct answer is enable print sharing on the computer. Number 4, make a note of that. Number 4, what steps in the laser printing process is responsible for conditioning the imaging drum in preparation for receiving an electrical charge. All right, the first option is charging. That seemed like it would be logical, but it's not the correct answer. Uh, Next one, cleaning is because in order for it to get the charge, it has to clean the drum first. So cleaning would be the correct answer. Fusing is not it, and neither is transferring. You can find those steps in the laser printer in the printing chapter, module 10. On to number 5. A client is asking for a printer solution that will print 3 sheets of paper with identical information on each page with a single pass of the printer. Furthermore, the client requests that the solution take the least amount of time and effort to maintain. Which of the following printer types should be recommended? So the first option it has is the thermal printer. Thermal printer, you know, is basically used to print receipts and things like that, and it uses heat, but that wouldn't be sufficient. Next is your inkjet. Your inkjet printer, if it did that, it had to print 3 times. It doesn't do carbon copies or anything like that. And of course, your impact printer would be the correct answer because it's an impact printer, it hits the paper. So if you have 3-ply paper or 5-ply or however many they needed to print, it would go through on one pass and it would print, hit those carbon copies, and that way you could have 3 copies by printing 1 sheet. Laser printer, the same thing. It would have to print several copies or 3 copies, 1 per page that it needs to print. There's no impact. It won't show up on a carbon copy even if you had that type of paper in a laser printer. All right, so impact printer would be what they were looking for on question 5. All right. Next, on question 6, which of the following printer issues is most likely resolved by performing a calibrate function on a laser printer or laser or inkjet printer? First, gradual fading over time as the pages are printed. Not going to help. Calibration is not going to help that. It's probably going to need more ink or shake up the cartridge. Multiple sheets pulled from the paper tray at one time. Nope, that would be a feeding issue. That would not be because that would not help calibrating that, or calibration wouldn't help that. Misfeeds, the same thing. Calibrating wouldn't help that either. Nor would it help you with voids in one or more colors on a printed page. The calibration is more for misaligned colors on the printed page. Did I say that? Or void in one or more colors. So misaligned colors on the printed page, calibration would help line those colors up so that they're printed in the right area. All right, so the correct answer is misaligned colors on printed page. Next, number 7. Which of the following is a centrally hosted and managed desktop environment with the capability of spinning multiple offices across various countries in which each user desktop instance is dynamically provisioned? So once again, which of the following is centrally hosted and managed desktop environment with the capability of spanning multiple offices across various countries in which each user desktop instance is dynamically provisioned? Right. So our first possible answer, VPN. That's not correct. That's a connection way to connect your virtual offices or whatnot. Your software as a service is not it either. However, your VDI will do that. You're running a digital virtual environment. So the VDI allows you to access or to manage those with your virtual machines. So the correct answer is VDI, and the IaaS is infrastructure as a software, totally different than virtual machines. All right, question 8. A small company has hired you to take over its IT needs. The company currently has 7 on-site employees and 12 remote employee workers from their homes and is looking to obtain a business service that will meet the needs of the current staff as well as scale up when the company grows. The service must provide adequate scalable computers, power, and storage. Which cloud service model should you implement? Remember, scalability is just the room to grow. Right? Simply means just make sure it has room to grow. So start with the first possible answer, infrastructure as a service. So when it comes to infrastructure as a service, it does provide scalability. You can grow with it. It doesn't only include software, hardware. It's everything that's needed for that actual platform or multiple platforms. So the correct answer would be the first choice: infrastructure as a service. Right? Platform as a service would not cover everything, so you would not help you on that. Be inadequate, I should say. Software as a service, the same thing. It would cover you in the software realm, but not everything, and it wouldn't be scalable. And then anything as a service is vague, but you can add your own package, but doesn't compare to infrastructure as a service as far as the correct answer. All right, on to number 9. Which of the following techniques can provide an application to return or to remote users without the need to install the application on the user's systems? Right, infrastructure mode, that is incorrect. So is synchronization app. So we're trying to provide an application to remote users without the need to install the application on the user system. So you want to install remote. So synchronization not really helping, but your application virtualization, it means exactly that. So your application is going to be done virtually, but it's not going to be hosted at that location. It's going to be hosted in a different location. So application virtualization is the correct one. Virtual network interface is just a connection to the network, but not the application. All right. So the correct answer again is application virtualization. And then finally, question 10. Which of the following is a cloud computing element that gives a service provider the ability to dynamically allocate shared physical resources to multiple customers based on each customer's usage demand? So the first measured service, you can measure your service, but that's not the correct answer. It wouldn't make sense. On demand is kind of the same thing, but it wouldn't fit the criteria. What you're talking about here, which is the correct answer, is resource pooling. So you got all your resources, they're pooled together, and you can pick from everything that you need when you need it. Rapid elasticity, it changes. It's not the correct answer, but it just means that it changes as you need it. So if you need more of one and less of the other for 1 month, they'll charge you for that, and they'll provide that service for you. And then if you go back the opposite way, and the regular business for whatever reason, holidays or whatnot, then you would change and you would only get charged for what you actually use. All right. So the correct answer for 10 is resource pooling. So that is all for the printer chapter. So if you did find use in this video, please like and leave a comment. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. And I'll see you next time on the next video. Thanks for joining. Have a wonderful day.